We are speed and professionals in aeromatic. Welcome back to the ID Race channel, everybody. Really appreciate all the support from the last video. Put in a lot of work to this roll cages for this week. I think I'm, fourth day now? Third day. Fourth day. Obviously you can see I'm even growing a beard. But with that, I've only got a couple days left of vacation before I got to get back to work on my normal job. So I'm trying to get as much done as I possibly can. And today I'm going to be working on getting the main driver's containment area squared away. So it's basically a funny car cage hoop. I'll kind of show you what we're going to be working on. This area right here. So all the yellow that you see, and then some of the red as well. But we're going to be getting this whole area kind of mocked up. I might not be able to do this bar. That one's going to be kind of difficult. We'll see how well I can do. But I'll definitely be able to get this bar and then these back ones completely in. So let's get started with that. It should be pretty easy. Basically, this bar here that comes across and down is identical, should be identical, just mirror image of the main hoop. The main hoop that comes around. So all my angles, this 60 degree and this 30 degree, I can transfer to this side, as well as the distances, so I can make a mirror image and not have any, eyesores. It'll visually, aesthetically look good. My 60 degree up here, and then my 30 degree down here, I already know the distance between these two bends already. So we have 8 inches in between. I have a 6-inch bend, 8 inches, and then, 7.5, 8 inches, 6-inch bend for my 30 degree, and then I just have to go down to this bar. So this is a new bar. This is where all the back bracing and everything comes from. And then we come from up here and then down and connect to this bar. So with that, I just need to know what this distance from here to here is so I know where to notch it. And right now, we're looking like, get a little bit off that tape measure there, to the actual pipe. And I like to measure like 3/4 down the pipe. We're looking right at about 11.5. So we're going to add 11.5 to our measurements for our bends and our distance between the two bends. And then we'll bend a cage for right here and see how that fits. And I don't know exactly where I'm going to locate this upper part, because the further I go this way, the more room I give for myself when I totally encapsulate and make it like a little coffin in here. Just kidding, not a coffin. Encapsulate. We'll say encapsulate. So that's basically about it. Actually, that's not too bad as to what it would look like. Yeah, so I'm just going to trim this off up there, and then we're going to coat that guy. Now that is one heck of a notch. So, all right, what do we think of that? Looks damn nice. Just perfectly level with everything. No weird kinks. The notches turned out just fabulous up there too. I just got held up top with a hose clamp just so it doesn't fall. But that's just a little trick I use just to hold the pipes in place. Hose clamps just so I don't have to weld it, because they come on and off. Like these ones aren't even welded or tacked or nothing. They're just sitting there. Because I still got to do the center bars, so we'll get to that now. Those should go pretty easy. Kind of give me a placement for where my restraints, harnesses, and stuff like that's going to go. But yeah, looks like whoever's going to be co-piloting with me, I'm giving you a little bit of room. I didn't go past the actual center console, so I'm helping you out. All right, progress is being made. Got our number 1 bar supports. Starting here at the top, getting all this kind of figured out, all the angles, all that. I actually took off the main halo, or the top halo bar, just so I could actually notch that corner just a little bit better, because I need to put another bar there. So I want it as close as I can. So I'm going to fix the notch on that upper halo bar that comes down for the A-pillar. And yeah, everything's looking pretty clean, I will say. Everything's lining up super nice. So let me get that top bar re-notched just so it lines up a little bit better, and then we'll put it on the second support there for the back driver's funny car cage. My notching skills got notching skills. Got all of these tubes done. Nothing's tacked. I'm basically just clamping everything into place. And now we are going to connect our shoulder bar to the bottom of our A-pillar bar, to the floor bar. And then I can actually start making my hoop that goes across for the driver that comes down, as well as I can get this upper bar kind of dialed in. That's going to come around and then down and connect to the bottom support for the funny car cage. So that's what we're going to get onto. I'm going to call her quits here for the night and get right back at it in the morning. It's final day of vacation. So as you can see, cleaned up. I got to go back to work tomorrow. But today we are going to work on the funny car cage and just the compartment that I'll be in. We've already done my back for where the seat is going to be basically mounted to and my harness has come through. Now we're going to do basically the front of where my helmet is, making sure that I'm safe. So let's go through what measurements that I kind of have ballparked, we're just going to call it that, and how we're going to bend this next tube. So now the tube that we're working on here is going to be this one right here that comes around, down, and then it kicks back into the bottom of the support bar for the seat and whatnot of the back of the rest. So on here, we're going to do a 60-degree bend and then come down. And this is actually going to kick in at a 40 to 45-degree angle, but it's got a 26-degree offset coming back. So it basically, instead of it being at, I think it was 30 degrees, and we might go a little bit less just to see where we're at, but we're going to try to get it either on this side or right on that corner, just to be able to notch that guy in there in that side really nice. So we'll see where we end up. We don't want to be on the inside. That's the biggest thing, is if we go on the inside, we got issues. So I'm going to go a little long on this side in case I need to trim it to be able to make this side go in or out. But right now we got a total of 48.5. 485, but it's 48.5. So we'll cut our first tube to try this and get to bending. Well, we got the tube all measured at 48.5. This is gonna be where our first bend is. We're gonna make a 60-degree here. So that will be the start of our containment. And then we're gonna make a, after 8 inches, just like how the main hoop goes, we're gonna try to meet that same angle at 26. And the way that we're gonna do that is offset this. So we're gonna rotate this 26 degrees off of this 60-degree bend. And then we're gonna bend this back 40 degrees or 45 degrees, whatever it takes to get to our bottom bar for the funny car cage. And then we'll have this for excess to be able to make that bend back. All right, so the air compressor is probably going to kick on, so it might get a little loud, but we will start here. So right now I got all the slack on here, so I got to basically zero out the machine. So let's zero it out. All right, so now she's starting to touch, so that's basically at 0, which right now we're at 0. We will make sure, yeah, we're looking good there. That's the 0 mark, all right. And then we're just gonna run this thing down because right now I gotta go to 60 degrees, which in order to do that, I gotta move this. So we'll just run it out. The air compressor is probably gonna turn on, it might get loud. Can only go to a little bit past 45, so we'll have to re-shock it to get our 60. And there's the air compressor. All right, pull this guy out, re-chock it again, let this whole thing come out. This guy will make sure it doesn't get caught because it likes to tend to get caught on that. Come on. Come on, there it goes. All right, so that's passed. We'll let that drop. We're gonna try not to touch this plate because right now this will swivel if you move it too hard. All right, so that dropped in no problem. So now we'll run it up. We'll start at 55. So with the rebound, we're gonna have to go to 60, and that'll actually be 55 when we release it. So now when I release, you'll see it kind of go and then stop. So it rebounded, and it literally stops right at 54. So, and it'll keep going because this is all connected together, but that rebound will hold this bend. When I go to 60, it's about 5 degrees that it loses. So we'll leave everything chalked up the way it is. We have our center line here, so we know where center is, so we shouldn't lose that mark. But we'll just see in the car what this looks like with this bend being at 60 or 55. All right, so this kind of gives us an idea. Now this bar is actually going to be back up here at this mark. But what this does, it tells me if I'm in line with this bar coming down. If I come back here and I just look at it, I can see I need a little bit more of a bend. So this is basically at 0. So if I move this angle finder to this section, I can see here I'm at 58.9, and if I move it to this bar, I'm trying to match that angle at 64.5. So I got about, almost 8 degrees that I need to bend more on this tube to really get me to where I'm going to be at that same angle. And when you look at the front of it, it'll all kind of look symmetrical. So let's get a little bit more bend on this guy. And in my opinion, I don't mind going back and forth bending a couple times on the same pipe. You just don't want to go too far because you can't go back. All right, so now we got our angle at 64.8 for that. So now it actually looks like it's mimicking that bar very well. So that'll be a good bend for us to have a starting point for the top. So now we're gonna get this as close to our 15-inch mark. Basically, that's our clearance that we need for the helmet for this bar. And then we're gonna bend it down on this side to line up with our second bend, and then we'll connect it down there at the bottom. So this is where it all gets tricky. Now I do have the ability to kind of tilt this in a little bit, so we're gonna use that to our advantage. But we're gonna throw this thing at 26 degree offset from this 60 degree bend, or 63 degree bend, 64, and then we're going to bend it back 45 degrees at a 26 degree offset and see what we get. All right, so I got it all notched out and just basically tacked on just to sit here as to where it is, but we're about 15 inches right here. I'm just a little bit past that. You actually can be a minimum of 14 inches, but I just said, you know what, I'll do 15. That's what they like to see, and I'm a little bit past that. So that looks good. Basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna connect this bend here where this bar is. We're just gonna go straight across right to here, to this side. And then we're gonna do another one up top here, and then we're gonna go straight to this one here, one in the middle, and then we'll have a down bar that comes from here that goes down to our shoulder bar. So we still gotta make that for our X bars in the door. But that looks good. Super happy with how it turned out. Not gonna lie, I did mess one up. So that was the first try at it because I wanted to get myself just a little bit of a bend on this side. And I ended up getting too far and I kinked it. So I kinked this one. So this one's no good. She's kinked right there. So I got some waste, unfortunately. What I'm gonna end up doing is just cut the bend off and see if I can't use some of that without the bend in it somewhere else. Maybe I can use this for where the actual X brace is. I can use that bend right there where the door bars are up to the halo. So still got a good section. But yeah, totally messed that one up. So I did waste one, unfortunately. Not perfect, but do like how that turned out. So we're good there. We'll get our bars in and continue on. We're looking at an end. It's pretty much a bunch of straight bars from here on out. Don't want to bore you guys. We'll catch you guys up on part 3. Thank you for enjoying part 2. Hopefully you like the progress, where we're at. Really appreciate you guys for watching, following along, and we'll catch you guys on part 3.